You can rest, my friend. The in-between is over. Your true self has triumphed, and the old you is falling away. And the illusions of the past, the strategies of the ego, while they may fight for survival, which is the reality of this old illusory self, this small little you, it will fight for its existence. It will come back and rear its ugly head, so to speak, because it wants your attention. It wants you to play it small and safe. It needs you in order to survive. But you have crossed a threshold. There is no going back. Even though you may dip from time to time and entertain the possibility that you can go back, you know in your heart that it is over. And so you can rest. Because the rest is the embrace of that true self. It is the falling backwards, so to speak, into the love, the light of who you truly are, which is a kind of current that carries you effortlessly. You see, this effortlessness is completely in opposition to the resistance that we are all so familiar with. Growing up and being brainwashed and conditioned by a world to do a lot, to prove a lot, to get somewhere, to become and be someone. All this sort of specialness, all this effort is resistance. Resistance to the truth that is true always, which in your heart of heart is a way of being which is so effortless, so natural, so normal within your state of alignment that everything has a way of coming to you. When you turn your attention back onto that innermost self, the truth within your heart, that space within your being, which is utter freedom, joy, unconditional love. It is a bliss, it is an ecstasy, it is a space which is not really a space, for it has no place, except that it is a state which you choose to remember, which restores your being to its height and glory. For that state is your true self.
Your lower self has won so many wars against your higher self until this point. Your lower self has been thinking through you. Your lower self had complete control over your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions. Your lower self has used your logic to go against your higher self, which is God. Your higher self is a reflection of God. Your lower self has used your logic. This person did this. This happened to me. I can't do these things because I couldn't do these things because. Your lower self has used your logic, your ego, and its personality to win so many wars against your higher self and against God's direction. The agenda of your lower self was to win wars that go against God's will. The war is against God's will, what God has written for you to do in this life. Your lower self was going against your destiny. Now, if you go back a decade, go back as many years as possible to the first event that was used by the enemy to disconnect you from your higher self for a lifetime. The enemy has used your childhood trauma to disconnect you from your higher self for a lifetime. That was his goal. The reason that he put you through so much pain, so much depression, the reason that he surrounded you around abusive, angry people is so you could be this way, so you could be broken and always beg for people to save you and give you things when you always had the power to save yourself and give yourself everything. His goal was to make you never feel like you were powerful enough to take care of yourself. He knew that if you always looked outside of you for power, stability, for your needs, that you would never realize that you had the power to give you everything you needed. And as long as he can externalize your savior, you would never be able to find God within, which is the only way to find him. You would never be able to find God if he puts you through a traumatizing situation that stopped you from knowing how to find him. Now you only know how to find anger, depression, negativity, darkness. Now you are using your dark ways to save you. You're finessing people out of money. You're scamming people. You're doing the devil's work for money. You have been doing your lower self's work for money. You got called out of your lower self because God wants you to get your money from him. He is calling you to stop getting money from your lower self, which is minimum wage, which is financial struggle. He did not write for you to be poor and need more. That was not his will. The enemy created another version of you in your childhood and tried to force your soul to live in that version for the rest of your life. And that is not the real you. You are not the real you, and you haven't been since your childhood trauma. It was a separation between your true self, your higher self. You were separated from your true self and your higher self and put into a lower version of yourself. You were cloned, and he put your spirit in the clone's body. This is not the real you, and it hasn't been this way since your first traumatic experience as a child. You were separated from the real you, your true self. Have you ever seen a kid? They don't think about what to say, how to say it. They don't think about trying to be cool, trying to be accepted. They are just them. They can just be freely. When he speaks on the resistance is you trying to be. Trying is the resistance because you are without effort. When you are you effortlessly without trying to be accepted by society, without trying to change something about you so the world accepts you, when you are that version of you and you can effortlessly be, you are your true self, which is your godly self, a reflection of God, his energy. You're being called to your higher self because through your higher self, God's thoughts, feelings, and power flows through you 100% of the time. Do you know how long you've been judgmental? The enemy's tool. Do you know how long you've been angry? The enemy's tool. Do you know how long you've been depressed? The enemy's tool. Do you know how long you've been suffering? The enemy's tool. The enemy's plans have succeeded against you on a daily basis. You were never you. You are always the energy of your experiences. And a lot of the energies from your experiences have been stuck inside of your heart, inside of your mind. And they think through you. They speak through you. They listen for you. Your lower self has taken over your mind and your heart and your actions. You were never you. You were the energy of your experiences that dragged you to becoming your lower self, that dragged you to becoming your lower self. When a child is abused, he's snatched out of his higher self and forced into his lower self that cries and says, "Stop, what's going on?" And when you get trapped in that victim mentality with those victimizing emotions, sometimes you get stuck there. And life just beats you the same way that you were abused that day. life starts to abuse you for the rest of your life. So if you look at people that are suffering financially, suffering mentally, always depressed, always angry, it's because the energy of their experiences got trapped in their mind, in their heart, in their soul, and it was never released, healed, or fixed. So they are an echo of the worst moments of their life. When you see angry comments, hateful comments, it's because the energy of their experiences speaks through them, feels through them, listens through them. So you end up hearing with the enemy's ears so you can say the words of the enemy. All these people have just been hurt and disrespected. That's all they're trying to say when they say something bad about you. They're saying something happened to me when I was a kid. They were so mean to me. They hurt me. And now that pain turns into judgmental anger. Now that pain turns into war with everything that they see that doesn't fit everything that they like. And they only like things because the people that they are connected to like those things. So now you're in an era where if my people don't like these things, then I don't like them and I will go to war with them. Which in reality, we have to understand that we are all different. And if we can have access to our higher selves, we can accept those differences and express peace even when we are opposite. I don't look like you. I don't sound like you. I don't do the things you like, but you can still love me if you are your higher self, which is your godly self, which is the most powerful form of positive energy. That is God. And once you can access that version of yourself, he will think through you, speak through you, listen through you, and feel through you. Now your healing begins. Now that you have been called to let go of your lower self, this is a sign that it's time to allow your higher self to take over your life for 100% of the time. The versions of ourselves control us through percentages. You are your lower self at 95% of the time, and your higher self 5% of the time. You have been called to give your higher self control 100% of the time because he is the one that follows God's will. He is the one that is godly. He is the one that is one with God. He is the one that God talks to and tells what to do and can actually do it. He's the one that turns God's will into thoughts, converts them into actions, which is converted into energy that spreads all over the world, heals, repairs, rebuilds, and transforms everything that it connects to and interacts with. You're being called to be your higher self to save the world because the energy of God will flow through you and flow through everything you interact with. The light will take over by using you. You have been called to the light. You have been called to heaven on earth. You are a strong believer. You have just suffered from lower versions of you. You have suffered from your lower self and being stuck in the way that your lower self thinks. This is a sign you are being freed from your lower self, which is your prison. The prison that you got comfortable in, the prison that you find entertainment in, the prison that you found your friends in. Now it's time for a new life where you find life through your higher self. What does your higher self use for entertainment? How does your higher self think? What does your higher self do every day? What does a day look like if you are the highest version of yourself, the most godly version of yourself, which is the most powerful form of positivity? What does he listen to? How does she think? Everything you think, see, and feel is coming from a lower frequency or a high frequency. There are levels of low frequencies and levels of high frequencies. And the highest frequency has a name, and its name is the Most High. The Most High is God. Everything you do, everything you think, feel, and see is coming from a certain frequency. You want to make sure that everything you think, hear, and see comes from the Most High. So, your algorithm is either sending you to a lower frequency or a higher frequency. The frequency travels into your mind, then goes through your heart, goes through your soul, and comes out of your body into the world. So whatever you see, you will absorb that energy and then you'll release it and put it back into the world in your own way. Your mind will transform the energy of what you're analyzing into an emotion, which will turn into thoughts, which will soon be expressed into the world. So whether these things give you sadness, anger, lust, or make you quiet, you'll have an energetic reaction to everything you absorb. Your job now is to make sure you intentionally, constantly see things that bring you to the highest frequency and the highest vibration. So everything that you're experiencing is bringing you to God. So the reason that you're here is because you're being called to the highest frequency. So God is calling you to Him. And the reason that He's doing that is not only because you're special, but He wants you to know that your life is not yours. When you are a child of God and you have godly gifts and you have a strong connection to God that you could feel in your soul, your life is not yours, it's His. My barber asked me what I've been up to the other day. I told him what I've been up to. I say, what you been up to? He shows me that he's been writing movies and making movies. And he said, this is the last movie I made. I didn't expect anything of it. He ended up being an actor, and it's like an action movie, and it's all these different characters, and he wrote the script, and he's an actor, and he's a director. And I just saw that he has such a powerful gift that I never knew about. And at the end of the conversation, I said, you know what God told me the other day when He started to call me into a higher frequency, when He started to call me to Him? He said, you are so worried about you and what you want and what you need in your life, but you never realize that you don't have a life. This is my life. When they say that everything is written, it means that the characters in the movie are not themselves. They are all the writer. It means the characters in the script, they don't have a life. They are all the writer. The person that writes everything you say, everything you do, everything you wear, everything that happens, every environment you're in, everyone that you will interact with. The characters don't have a life. They are all the writer. So when God says you don't have a life, your life is mine, it's because everything is written and everything comes from the Creator, and you are the creation that was designed and written. So when you get called to God, it's actually God calling a piece of Himself back to His body. So when we all get that call, we all go back into the body of the Most High, because we are all extensions and pieces of Him. So that's why people in a lot of religions, they all come together because they are all a part of the body. You are being called to escape your lower self and give your higher self a higher percentage of control. Your lower self has been controlling you 95% of the time. Your higher self has been in control 5% of the time. We are here to switch the percentages. Your lower self has a certain job. has certain types of friends, has a certain type of relationship, eats certain types of food, watch certain types of videos and entertainment, speaks a certain type of way, listens a certain type of way, reacts a certain type of way, feels a certain type of way. And all of those things are low vibrational because they have to match the frequency of the lower version of yourself that was created through childhood trauma, that was created through anger, violence, depression, abuse, judgment, and negativity since you were a child. But that is not the real you. That is the version of you that the enemy has made to trap you at a lower frequency. Your higher self has a complete different job, has complete different friends, is in a complete different type of relationship, eats different types of food, speaks a certain way, thinks a certain way, feels completely different. Everything is the complete opposite in the life of your higher self. Because everything your higher self has to do has to be high vibrational so he can stay at that frequency. Everything that your lower self has to do has to be lower vibrational because that's the only frequency that he knows. After the enemy creates your lower self and a lower life for you, he puts you in a lower frequency neighborhood where everyone is their lower selves. Everyone is angry, violent, depressed, struggling, judgmental, loud, out of control, emotionally unstable, mentally unstable, financially unstable. And the whole neighborhood is low frequency. Someone in a high frequency neighborhood has a $200,000 car, $1 million house, 3 dogs, a vacation house in Miami, 5 businesses, 8 streams of income. They own property, they own stocks, they are investors. They are in high frequency neighborhoods. You listening to God, being called to your higher self, is so you can live at a higher frequency. So you can get a high frequency career instead of making 18, 20, 15, 25 an hour. Let's make 50 an hour in a high frequency position instead of having friends that every time y'all link, y'all smoke, y'all drink, y'all gossip. You're going to have friends that are investors, that are builders, that are developers, that are scientists, that are engineers, that are preachers, that are real estate investors. They own property. They trade. They create content. They make 5 figures a month instead of the 4 figures a month that you've been stuck at. You've been stuck at that low frequency because everything you do ties you down to it. Everything you see ties you down to it. Now it's time to release all ties to the lower frequency and enter the higher frequency because the highest frequency is the most high. And the Most High is the most powerful form of positive energy. And you are here to go toward it. You are here to break the chains of your lower self in this lower realm and enter higher realms and higher frequencies. It's time for you to fly. You've been called to fly. Now, I have one question. Did you pray today? If not, pray with me. Most High, please release everyone from their lower selves, from their depression, from their darkness, from their mental slavery, from their emotional slavery, from their pain, from their doubt, from their insecurity, from their childhood trauma, where the emotions from those horrible times are trapped in their heart. They're trapped in their reactions. They're trapped in their mind. And they have so much darkness from all of the things that they've been through. I ask that you release them from this darkness that has them in chains, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that darkness has went through this person and caused them to hurt people, caused them to hurt themselves, caused them to not be able to listen to you, caused them to not be able to go toward their blessings, but go toward their curses. And I pray that you lift the curse and you allow the blessings to overflow in this person's life. I ask that you bring peace within, give them peace of mind. They never had it. They had evil imaginations that were sent by the enemy, evil emotions that were sent by the enemy, evil doubts and limitations that were sent by the enemy, and they believed in them. They have been telling people that they are insecure and what they can't do, but they can do everything through you. Please free all of us from the chains and the bondage of darkness and trauma, depression, pain, and anger. I ask God to set us free. Please forgive us for our sin against you and remember all the times we attempted to reflect you and allow our higher selves to take over our lives. We ask that you take over our lives and replace our will with yours. Please give us the power to live your will and take action. Please take away procrastination and laziness. that comes when it's time to do what your will told us to do. And please replace it with the ability to take action, supernatural focus, and supernatural power. So when you tell us what to do, we can do it plus more. I ask you that you surround us with angels, archangels, powerful spirits that can bring so much light to us that the darkness cannot affect us at all. I ask that you save us from lower versions of ourselves and allow our higher self to stay with us and stay in control from now on. We pray to the Most High. Amen. Doing the enemy's work means there is something that God wanted you to do and you did not do it. And the way that you pay for it is with depression as your reward. When you listen to the enemy and you don't listen to the Most High, the highest frequency that constantly gives you instruction by sending you thoughts and urges to do the right thing, when you don't listen to that voice and you listen to the voices of the lower vibrations, you get paid with depression, with anger, with laziness, with insecurity, with doubt. When you look at something and say, I need to do that, I need to pick that up, I need to clean that up, I need to check on them, I need to help them, they look like they need help. When you ignore what's right to enjoy doing what's wrong, that is ignorance. And that is what the enemy wanted you to do. The enemy constantly wants you to ignore good things and enjoy doing bad things. And his reward for you doing that, more laziness, more procrastination, more poverty, more anger, more judgment. You'll be so judgmental toward everyone. More depressed, more self-harm, more problems. He will give you problems as a currency for doing his work. Oh, you didn't do what the Most High wanted you to do and decided to do something else? All right, boom, now I'm gonna get your lights cut off. All right, boom. Have you ever noticed people that have car trouble? A lot of people that have car trouble have done bad things. They have so much negative energy towards someone. They have been gossiping about somebody that has been taking care of them. They have been ignoring God's will. They were supposed to be in the gym. They were supposed to be eating good. They were supposed to go back to school. They were supposed to help their parents that have been suffering mentally, that have been suffering physically. They were supposed to be praying. They were supposed to be starting their business. God called you to start your business 5 years ago. You ignored it this whole time, say you don't have time, money, or belief in yourself, enough belief in yourself to actually get it started. So the enemy will say, great, because you still didn't start that business, I'm going to give you more problems because you've been listening to me. You've been listening to all the insecurities I sent, all the doubts that I sent, all the negative energy I sent. It went right into your heart and corrupted your mind. And because you listened and didn't break free from the enemy's will, his currency is problems, depression, anger, self-harm, judgment, doubt, more insecurity, more laziness, more procrastination. But when you listen to the Most High, he rewards you with confidence. He rewards you with his money. You've been getting money from lower vibrations, which is minimum wage, which is financial struggle. He has a new job for you that'll make you never want to do your current job that comes with your lower self. He has a job only your higher self can do. And the amount of money that your higher self will make is unbelievable compared to the money that you make now. You have been called to a higher vibration, and everything you do in the near future will be high vibrational. I pray for you to stay in this powerful state. I pray for you to stay connected to the most powerful form of positive energy known as the Most High, where there is no judgment, there is no anger, there is no sadness, there is nothing but a wise, supernatural understanding. There is nothing but love and light in its most powerful form. And that is the energy that you have been called to. Join us in the higher frequencies. Join us in the highest frequency, the frequency of the Most High. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so every time I drop, you're the first to get notified. I want you to pray without ceasing. Tell the Most High everything you're grateful for. You're blessed. He woke you up. He saved you from near-death experiences. He saved you from those ER visits that you took. You thought it was all over. You walked out. The doctor said you were okay. He saved you from accidents. You walked out. Nothing wrong with you. You're still here. He saved you from those nightmares that you had. You were in that dream running for your life and you just woke up. It's not real, baby. Your pain is not real. It's just a nightmare. And this is your sign that it's time to wake up. You now have the power to free yourself from the darkness. I want you guys to have a blessed weekend and thank you for making it this far. Please listen to the voices of the higher frequencies. We are only here to help. We are only here to heal. And we are only here to connect you to positive energy.